Indrani Mukerjea has committed suicide. Her condition is serious. She has attempted suicide, and with me in the studio is Advocate Hitesh Jain, Advocate Swapnil Kothari, Sujay Kantawala, Senior Lawyer, Sanjay Hegde, Senior Advocate of the Supreme Court. We have Rizwan Merchant, who has represented Sanjay Dutt in the past, former DGP Uttar Pradesh Vikram Singh, Shobha De, author and columnist, Anil Dharkar is with us, and Rohit Kochar, Chairman and Managing Partner of Kochar and Company. From our studios in Guwahati, from the studios of the News Live channel, is our consulting editor, Wasbir Hussain. But first, before I go across to all of them, let's go straight to JJ Hospital, where Times Now's Bureau Chief Megha Prasad and senior journalist Kashif Khusro have more on the story. And we have Viren, who is outside, I think, Peter Mukerjea's residence in Worli. But first to JJ Hospital, what is the latest? How is Indrani Mukerjea's present medical condition? What are the hospital authorities telling you? Are we expecting a bulletin shortly?
Well, there has been no bulletin as such. Dr. Lahane, the dean of this hospital, Arnab, briefed the media some time ago. He spelled out the details as to what really her condition was. His one word was that she's extremely serious. She's in the ICCU, is what we understand. To go back and tell you the sequence of events, it happened at about 12 o'clock when JJ Hospital got a call saying that Indrani has fallen unconscious inside the Baikala jail and they needed urgent medical attention. So there was a team of doctors which was rushed to Baikala Hospital in the afternoon, and then it was upon their advice she was brought here in this hospital, and since 2 o'clock in the afternoon she has been unconscious. Now what we understand from sources inside JJ Hospital is that she has been prescribed anti-epileptic medicines since 11th of September. That has been after the advice of the doctors that she needed those medicines because she was apparently suffering from depression, and that is why she needed those pills. So 11th September onwards she's on those pills.
No, 1 second.
Dr. Lahane on record.
Now, just a minute. Now let me take this forward. We are being told that Indrani Mukerjea had been on pills since September 11th. Now, who did she procure these pills from? Were they pre-approved, Megha, from a medical officer within the jail? Or were the prescribed pills hoarded and were they then overdosed on by Indrani Mukerjea? We're not clear on these cases. And why wasn't Indrani Mukerjea on a daily basis watch to ensure that she wasn't in a situation where she could overdose if that situation were to arise?
Yeah.
Yes, Megha.
Yeah. So, Arnab, these are the questions that are extremely crucial right now, and we would like to know the answers to each one of them. But understand, the custody is so mixed up right now. She's been kept inside the Baikala jail, which is, effectively taken care of by the prison authorities of the government of Maharashtra. Though technically the case is now with the CBI, so the CBI is answerable for whatever happens to her. At this point in time, of course, what we understand is the doctor that she was taken to while she was in the custody of the Mumbai police, that is the doctor who had prescribed her these medicines. Now, Dr. Lahane says this. Now, this is what his suspicion is. He says that perhaps, she was collecting all these medicines from
impossible.
the time she was being given. And at this,
if a prisoner, that's absurd. If a prisoner asks for a set of pills, if a prisoner asks for a set of pills, is it, and let's get a panel in on this. If a prisoner asks for a set of pills, then is this simply handed over to the prisoner as so that they can do with these pills as the need arises? Hitesh, what is your information?
It is never handed over. It is always taken under the supervision. Somebody is overseeing everything, so then, and you are not allowed to hoard also.
Yeah, so then that means there is a strict compliance on this aspect. That means that there is a very severe security lapse.
Of course,
which has happened in this particular case.
If she has consumed, then there is a security lapse.
Yeah, but then who is responsible for the security lapse? Given that, and let's go back to a panel on this. Given that, Arthur Road Jail Inspector General has said that Indrani used to take 2 pills, one in the morning and one in the evening. So nobody was supervising her when she was consuming them. And medically, logically, this is not making sense. Yes, please, Sujay.
These pills are to be handed over to the patient. The doctor has to certify in the logbook that the patient is consuming them.
Yeah.
These are not candies that you can store like small children. Yeah. This is the most sensitive case that we are going through. There is a serious money laundering trail that has to be, and the main accused, there has to be proper guards, there has to be proper monitoring. Yeah. Therefore, there is a serious lapse. Serious questions are being raised.
This is really ridiculous, Sujay and Swapnil. A prisoner accused of murder within the watch of the police, and we already know what the police has done, don't we all? We all know how the Mumbai police has handled this entire case. Allegedly now hoodwinks the entire system to commit suicide. Now, Swapnil, if it was the prosecution that turned down the plea for Indrani to consume home-cooked food on the premise that she may be poisoned. This theory was always there. The prosecution said she turns down the plea for Indrani to consume home-cooked food on the premise that she may be poisoned. Today we have a case in which Indrani may have been overdosed under their watch or been poisoned. We never know.
Absolutely. The entire sequence of events right from the beginning is clearly indicative of the fact that first the two cops get transferred, then it goes to the CBI, then suddenly these kind of pills are being given. I mean, this is absolutely surprising. There is no, one will not repose any faith further in the system if these kind of things happen. This is a deliberate gesture on the part of anybody who, the person who was responsible for the transfer of the two police officers is definitely has some role to play in this kind of an administration of overdose of pills.
You know, Swapnil, we've been saying this from day one, and unfortunately there have been too many cynics who not understanding the depth of the investigation we had on the story since day one. Have always said, oh, don't ask any questions on this. Media trial, media trial, media trial. I want to ask those people tonight, what trial? What media trial was this? We always suspected that in this particular case, there was going to be hanky-panky. There were too many people involved, powerful interests involved. Two commissioners go. Indrani Mukerjea allowed to attempt to commit suicide. The most high-profile case, Shobha De, in recent times, the law enforcement agencies have allowed one of their most high-profile accused prisoners' activities to go unnoticed by jail authorities. I mean, if Indrani has attempted suicide, Shobha De and Sanjay Hegde and Anil Dharkar, the implications are going to be really very, very serious. Shobha De.
This is a very sinister development, Arnab, and I don't believe the people who are watching this show are going to accept the theory of attempted suicide to start with. It's not. I'm not trying to sensationalize it by saying she was murdered in jail, but it's certainly something that we need to question, because it seems to be following the exact Sunanda Pushkar pattern, where a woman who's declared inconvenient by a lot of people suddenly decides to take her own life. Once she's gone, that's the end of the case. But I have been speaking to doctors this evening, and they have told me if it is indeed the anti-epilepsy pills that she's been on, which she's obviously taken so-called without the proper rules being followed, no supervision, which is unheard of in any case where a prisoner of this kind of an accused of this level of security which is required there's a lapse. Apart from that, even if she has consumed 100 of these, she would be on a respirator for the next 2 or 3 days. She could pull out of it. But I don't think that is the intention in the first place. This was supposed to be the dead end. So there is a conspiracy there. I personally find it hard to believe it's an attempted suicide. I've said so. I don't buy it for a moment. I don't think the public at large will buy it either.
No, you see, from day one, Shobha De, we've been saying this, the attempt to sort of limit the damage to Indrani Mukerjea, put the blame on Indrani Mukerjea, and then say that there is nothing more to investigate. I mean, the entire premise of our investigation from day one, and tonight Vikram Singh will remember, Anil Dharkar will remember, so will Sanjay Hegde. You will remember that from day one we've been saying you cannot limit the damage to Indrani Mukerjea. This incident could not have happened with only Indrani Mukerjea's knowledge. There are several other people in the mix. Now, Vikram Singh, after passing the parcel in this case from day one, the authorities have now exposed their so-called incompetence in keeping a prisoner under watch even within the walls of the prison. So I don't know if you can really buy the overdose theory. Do you buy the overdose theory, Vikram Singh?
No, I don't, Arnab, and I totally agree with Madam Shobha De. I totally agree with Madam Shobha De that this requires a very deep investigation. Firstly, you must realize that Indrani is a pawn. There is a well-appointed medical superintendent, medical staff to regulate the administration of medicine to the patient. How, under what circumstances was an overdose possible on such a high-profile prisoner? And the very fact that this has happened gives a lurking suspicion as to what happened to Dr. Sachan in UP and what happened to high-profile prisoners, because they died in UP jails because they were high-profile and they had very inconvenient secrets to reveal, and therefore they met their end in Waterloo in UP jails. I hope I am wrong, that this was not the fate meant for Indrani, but this requires a deeper probe, and any one of the medical superintendents and jail staff who were found remiss or negligent in administering...
Vikram Singh, one of the things that doesn't add up as far as I'm concerned in this case is that if this is... I'm just putting everything together. Rizwan Merchant, welcome. Sanjay Hegde and Anil Dharkar, my question to both of you is, just let's construct the facts that are available with us. We were told today when our reporter, around 8:15 we got this lead. Around 8:20, 8:25, and I want to tell you all how the story broke. At 8:20, 8:25, our senior editor, Vivek Narayan, who is going to join us in some time, he spoke to the Dean of JJ Hospital. So, Dean of JJ Hospital, I'm going to play out that phono. This is when this news actually came to the public domain, said that, yeah, she's not well. Then as we were pushing, yes, she's serious. Oh, yes, she's unconscious. Since when is she unconscious? Since 2 p.m. How serious is she? Well, she's serious. What is her problem? She is having respiratory, I don't know whether she said respiratory distress or respiratory depression. I think the phrase was respiratory depression. And repression or depression, something to something. My point is, Anil Dharkar and Sanjay Hegde, let Sanjay go first and then maybe Anil. 7 hours into Indrani Mukerjea being brought unconscious, and there was no official word from the authorities in this highly sensitive case. Why is this so? If Indrani has consumed the pills within the confines of a prison, obviously, why should we not believe? Yeah, Sanjay Hegde, you want to, go ahead, Sanjay.
The answer is very obvious, that the jail authorities did not want anybody to know that this had happened. Yeah. They tried to keep it as low profile as possible. Somebody scooped it from the medical sources, and therefore now this thing has come out in the open. Obviously, what is happening right now is treatment is being administered, the stomach is being pumped to empty out the contents. The hospital authorities are hoping that the patient stabilizes, and then thereafter all questions can be answered.
No.
The questions that naturally arise are, Sanjay, what were the pills? How did she get them?
No, even so, Sanjay, if the drugs were administered correctly, then the authorities should come on record to state the drugs were administered correctly. Are they trying to create a post facto explanation for what happened, even if the drugs were prescribed to Indrani? The fact is that there is talk that she over-consumed the dosage prescribed. Now, how are we getting this version? We haven't got the forensic report. We don't even know whether these are anticonvulsants or anti-epileptics. Officially, we don't know. Then how are we assuming these are anti-epileptics? How can a dean of JJ Hospital even tell us these are anti-epileptics without the forensic examination being happening? So I don't understand.
They're making an assumption based upon the tablets which were probably found with her.
No. This is looking like Sunanda Pushkar Part 2. I'm telling you, the way the developments are proceeding out here, I don't understand how you can say that she has stored and consumed a prescribed medication all at once. How do you know? Is there a CCTV camera which shows that she was storing those?
No. Been able to seize the and then once she has crossed the line of no return, people are not adding up.
No. You see, the point is, how are we being told today that she has stored the medicines when we don't know what these medicines are, how many they are? I mean, they could just be paracetamol. Yes, you can't look at a tablet and say whether it's paracetamol or anti-epileptic or anticonvulsant.
And how many were found when she was shifted to the hospital?
How many were found when she was shifted to the hospital? Anil Dharkar, please, what do you think? By the way, CBI sources are saying, and Prema Sridevi will tell us, they're saying that it's too early to say if this is a case of suicide. We had just started our investigation. We will wait to get a detailed report on this from the Maharashtra authorities, but we will investigate whether there is any attempt to sabotage the CBI's investigation into the Sheena Bora case. Prema Sridevi, a deputy news editor, joining us from Delhi on that. Prema, hi, are you there? Prema, can you hear me? What is the CBI telling you, Prema?
Yes,
reporting on the CBI angle from New Delhi, please. Yes,
well, Arnab,
sources within the CBI are telling us that it is too early to say whether this is a case of suicide, and it seems the CBI will now also investigate whether there is any attempt to sabotage the investigation into the Sheena Bora case. And CBI sources also telling us that they are waiting for an official report from the Maharashtra authorities, and then they will start their investigation to see if this case is being sabotaged. In fact, Arnab, what is to be seen is that this is like a repeat of the Sunanda Pushkar case, because even when the Sunanda case happened, everybody went on to say that this was a case of suicide, and later it came to be known that this was a case of murder. This was a murder case. Even in the Indrani case, the same thing is happening. A lot of people are already deducing the reason as to how this thing entirely happened. But Arnab, CBI sources telling us that it is too early to say that this is a case of suicide, because this is a completely, it is a
but they are saying so sitting in Delhi because they don't. But are they speaking openly to you, Prema, or are they just being very cagey because they don't really know what happened? And my second question to you is, when was the CBI informed? Who in the CBI was informed? And if 7 hours have passed, why were they keeping this a state secret till now? Why were they being so secretive about it? I mean, we almost stumbled across this incident by accident when the Dean of JJ Hospital ended up revealing, as our anchor said when he gave the news, ended up revealing more than they probably planned to, because had we not spoken to the Dean of JJ Hospital, believe me, Prema, we would not have known anything about it. This whole story comes out through the Dean of JJ Hospital, not from the police.
We also spoke to our sources within the CBI. We spoke to the spokesperson. We spoke to several other officials within the CBI just hours before, just around 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. This evening, and on the Mayawati case. So the CBI sources, they never spoke anything about to us about the Sheena Bora case. In fact, we also spoke about the Sheena Bora case and asked them if there is any development in the Sheena Bora case, and they said absolutely there is no development.
What time was this?
CBI
what time was this? What time was this?
Just started the investigation. This just happened at around 8 o'clock or 8:30 this evening.
You spoke to your primary CBI sources at 8:30, just about 20 minutes before this news broke on Times Now. They told you nothing was happening in the case?
Exactly, Arnab.
Now, yesterday also, we did not really know. This is a sequence of events, and viewers, I want to tell you this. Yesterday, Indrani Mukerjea's mother passed away in Guwahati. And there was speculation on whether Indrani Mukerjea would go to Guwahati, following this tragic news. And we were trying to find out whether she'd put in any court application, because you have to go through a court application, right? If you have to attend, and she's likely to have got it. We were not told anything about this yesterday. We went through a period where for
medicines also, because if you want to take pills or any medicine, you have to make an application to the court.
I know.
And to my mind, only for food, home cooked food was made, which was opposed. But for medicine also,
but the point is that on 31st August 2015, the prosecution in this case, Hitesh, denied Indrani's lawyer's plea to allow her to have home-cooked food on the fear that there could be poisoning. Okay. Now, if you know there could be poisoning, and Anil Dharkar, let me get Anil into it. If you know there could be poisoning, and then this mammoth security lapse happens, then it becomes all the more confusing.
Right.
Anil.
Yeah. Well, Arnab, there are two ways of looking at it. The first one is that everything is being completely incompetent, or the other theory is that there is a conspiracy. Now, incompetence is, the way Rakesh Maria was transferred. Then he was made in charge of the investigation. Then he said he would not take it. And then the CBI was brought in. And we all know the reputation of CBI. And now in jail, if a prisoner is under medication, especially someone accused of murder, there is what is called a suicide watch. Now, under a suicide watch, you always look at the prisoner 24 hours a day to ensure that they don't find a way of committing suicide. Now, if there's a medication happening, you have to administer it under supervision, obviously. Now, if she was under depression, that is understandable. But if she was taking anti-epilepsy pills, it cannot be recent. There must be an old history about it. Is there a history?
I tell you what. The fact is, I think you make a good point out there.
If you go to the second,
but the question is, let's look at it logically, Anil. Complete your point. Sorry.
The second theory And the second theory, the second theory is that there is a real deep conspiracy in all this. And people have a lot to hide. And obviously we know that there's a big money trail.
Obviously.
Now, if that is the case, then who is masterminding this conspiracy?
You see
that becomes a massive question.
You see, right? I think the simple question to ask is, let's go to Rizwan Merchant also, and then we open up. By the way, let's have a free-flowing conversation here. I'm not really taking turns. My point to Rizwan Merchant is, I would ask one question: who benefits if something happens to Indrani Mukerjea? That is the basic question here. If Indrani Mukerjea sings, in other words, if Indrani Mukerjea reveals everything, if Indrani Mukerjea reveals there are more people who knew. Simply, if Indrani Mukerjea reveals that there were more people who knew about Sheena's murder, or who had a hand in Sheena's murder, or who had a hand in the cover-up after Sheena's murder, whose names have not come out, or who the police is not investigating, and now that the Central Bureau of Investigations is investigating the case, it is entirely possible that those protagonists who are involved in this murder, whose names had not come out so far, would really be extremely nervous. They are the people, Rizwan, who would benefit, who stand to gain if something happens to Indrani Mukerjea. Am I correct?
I agree with you, Arnab. I agree with you, because the thing is that she has gone into judicial custody whilst the investigation was with the police department, and it was transferred to CBI subsequently. In that particular intermittent period, there was no such thing which has ever happened. It's only happened only after the matter has gone to CBI. So there is somebody who is expecting a finger coming towards them from the CBI. So something is definitely fishy. And let me tell you one thing, Arnab. There was no application ever made before the magistrate's court by any of her lawyers disclosing to the court that she is an epileptic patient or that she is having convulsions. The procedure in law is that you are supposed to get a medical certificate, a prescription from a doctor certifying that she is a patient of epilepsy, get a prescription, file it in court, take the permission of the court for keeping medication. The accused is not allowed to keep the medication with him on his person. It is supposed to be kept with the chief medical officer. The prescription is given with the chief medical officer. The medical officer is required to visit the patient and time to time administer the drug. The question which I'm raising is, how did she come in possession of the medication which otherwise is supposed to remain with the CMO? Okay. Secondly, under whose permission was she keeping this medication? Can I come in on one small point? We don't know any magistrate's order. There is no magistrate's order authorizing her to keep this medication. There has to be a prescription by a doctor. There has to be a prescription certified by the chief medical officer. And another thing important, Arnab, when she consumed this tablet, she went unconscious. The chief medical officer is first supposed to rush there and just see her vitals, make a record of her vitals. What is the blood pressure? What is the pulse? Has that record been forwarded to JJ Hospital? No, we don't know. By the time she has reached JJ Hospital, she must have been declared dead.
Rizwan Merchant, you're on a very important point. I want to share some information, please, with our viewers on this. The fact is that there are already differing versions coming out on the circumstances that led to Indrani's condition. I'm just putting all the information we have. While the prison authorities claim, and Shobhade will be interested on this because Shobhade also believes, from day one we've been saying there's something very strange. And viewers, I'll say this freely here. First, when is Rakesh Maria removed? Rakesh Maria is removed when he's closing in on the money trail. Then Javed Ahmed comes. Javed Ahmed is known to be close to Peter Mukerjea. Then the CBI comes. And suppose Indrani Mukerjea, who is involved in the money trail herself, is going to reveal the real story of the money trail. Then there could be an attempt to silence her by people who could be affected by the money trail. So it comes back to the money trail again and again. And I think it is the responsibility of people to see through this simple fact. Absolutely. I hope the investigators don't feel the country as wearing blinkers. I hope people investigating the case do not believe that just as they have made the Sunanda Pushkar murder case into one black hole where no truth comes out, and we are expected to believe that till now we don't actually know whether she was murdered or committed suicide or whether she was poisoned. They covered up the Sunanda Pushkar case. They should not believe that, like the Sunanda Pushkar case, they will be able to cover up this particular case. Now we need to follow this story, and we do hope that Indrani Mukerjea comes out to tell us the real story of what happened. One point I want to say. While the prison authorities say it's the result of her hearing about her mother's death, the doctors are trying to insinuate some sort of overdose. Why are there conflicting versions of the events leading up to Indrani's sudden deteriorating health? You wanted to go first? Which one of you? Yeah, go, okay, Swapnil.
Okay, Arnab, my point is very simple, that these are all links of the same chain.
Yeah.
The removal of Rakesh Maria, the removal of Javed Ahmed, transferring the case to CBI, then there is a sudden overdose or sudden, and these are all questions that we are raising, assuming that she's still alive. And God forbid that even if once she dies, that they don't botch that up also.
No, let's not go
that far. I mean, I'm just saying.
Let's not go that far. Let's wish her that she comes out of this.
No, that's I'm just telling you.
Let's wish she comes out of this.
Comes out and she sings.
No, but the fact is, the special IG of Baikala prison, Bipin Kumar Singh, says that Indrani was taken to JJ hospital after she fainted on being informed of her mother's death. One, in this version there is no mention of pills being taken, and he framed his narrative as though Indrani's condition was a consequence of the trauma she experienced after hearing about the death of her mother. So should the overdose angle be established, can this be seen as a cover-up by the prison authorities? I mean, either it is the trauma she experienced, or it is the overdose, or it is something else. The dean of JJ Hospital says, on the other hand, that Indrani was brought in an unconscious state and her condition was serious, suspecting she would have probably consumed tablets. Why would the dean of JJ Hospital, Shobha De, say one thing, and the special IG of Baikala prison, Bipin Kumar Singh, say another thing? Doesn't add up. Even at this point, doesn't add up.
Nothing is adding up. No. Well, Arnab, I also believe that the mother's death, I mean, this is, I'm taking it one step further. How do we know even a mother died a natural death? And if after her mother her mother died, the fear that she might apply and to attend a mother's funeral, which with an accused is entitled to, and that they'd physically have to take her to Guwahati, was maybe another reason to accelerate the whole process of this so-called overdose. And yes, it may sound like a very bizarre theory, but I do believe that the two cases need not be seen in isolation. Sunanda Pushkar and her. Maybe it's the same lot of people. There's a lot of money involved. There was some kind of talk of the underworld being involved in both cases. And I remember the day that Sunanda Pushkar died, I was in Delhi talking to a lot of senior Delhi journalists who had assumed that she had attempted suicide, and she was, of course, by then she was dead. And they'd come and announced, like, she has killed herself. How did they know at that point?
But in this particular case, with
Indrani, it's going to be the same lot of people who are going to turn around and say that she has attempted suicide when it could be murder.
No, you see one minute. The only thing, word of caution right now is that Indrani Mukerjea is very much alive, and our information is that she was given a stomach wash after she was brought in. Some people are saying 10, some people are saying 20 tablets are suspected to have been taken. One version is that she's serious. Other version is that after the stomach wash, her parameters stabilized. One version is that she had respiratory depression. Other version is that she's responding to treatment. I don't have the full accurate version yet, but can I go to JJ Hospital for a latest on this, please? I just come to you on the story, because on what exactly the situation is. Yes, please. Yes, please. Kashif, you have more? Kashif, you have more on her present condition?
More details emerging of... Yes, Arnab, more details of what kind of these pills she had taken. What we understand now from sources at JJ Hospital is that it's a mixture of anti-epileptic and anti-depression pills. September 11th is when she was prescribed. 10 to 20 pills is what some doctors are estimating, but the exact number will be only known after the forensic test and her examination of her gastric larva is what we understand from the doctor.
No, what is her present condition? Because we are hearing that she was given a stomach wash and she responded to the treatment. Why are they not coming out with an official statement? I mean, the hospital needs to tell us.
Well, yes, the official version of the hospital is that they have given her a stomach wash. That is the preliminary thing in case of a poisoning like this. And now her parameters are all stabilized. She is not on a ventilator, we have been told. She's respiratory depression is there, but she's been able to breathe on her own self. She has not been given any ventilator support at this moment, but the situation is extremely serious. She is still in ICCU on the 3rd floor of this building. That's where there's at least 25 constables and other Mumbai police staff inside that ICCU or outside posted. We tried to actually go inside the ICCU to speak with the doctors as to what her current condition was, but the police actually did not allow us. So 3rd floor of the JJ hospital.
None of the other information we have
posted.
None of the other information we have also, Kashif, is that she was not prescribed the anti-epilepsy pills. It was Sanjeev Khanna, her second husband, who was prescribed the anti-epilepsy pills. So how could she be responding to anti-epilepsy pills that were prescribed for Sanjeev Khanna? That's another thing which is not adding up in this case at all. So it's getting even more confounding.
No application to the...
While in Baikala jail.
Yeah, go ahead, Kashif.
While she was...
where's Peter Mukerjea, by the way?
In Baikala jail, she said she had a lot of convulsions. Remember, also on camera inside the court, did once. And she had these, where she was fainting, she was having convulsions, and because of that, the jail doctor, then on the advice of JJ Hospital, had in fact given her those anti-epileptic pills, is what the other version is. One more version, as you said, is the version of Sanjeev Khanna being prescribed those pills, and she got access to it. But remember, Sanjeev Khanna is lodged in Athar Road jail, while Indrani is in Baikala jail. So they are in 2 different jails.
No,
so
but I'm not a medical expert here, but do you just get prescribed anti-epilepsy pills? She either had a history of epilepsy or she didn't. I mean, epilepsy, I don't think is
on its own.
Epilepsy is, I don't think.
Application.
No, I don't know. That's someone for a doctor.
Nobody on its own volition can prescribe
anti-depression pills are over a period of time. They just can't be given. As I said, that they are not like candy. And Arnab, you remember, few days back there was a discussion on
So that's another thing which doesn't add up here.
Regarding those angel investors. Now my mind is working on that angle, that those angel investors who suddenly came and in excess of 500 crores this way, that way the money was exchanged. Now this seems to be that hidden hand which is controlling. And
you see, we had also reported, you would remember, Sujay, that there was a sum of 88 crore rupees that was funneled into a large amount of money, 88 crore rupees funneled through unknown entities in typically fishy operations that some people
completely
do.
Fishy.
So this, and there was a transfer of those companies which received the money to other people, based in Kolkata. And we had also asked that Peter Mukerjea was aware of this. If you remember, Shobha, there we had said that Peter Mukerjea had to be aware of this transfer of money because the companies initially which received the money were in Peter Mukerjea's name. So if the transfer happened of ownership cannot happen without the consent of one of the 2 owners, who's Peter Mukerjea. So all those angles, we don't know where they went really. Yes, 1 second. Yeah, Shobha.
But he has the required corporate background, Arnab. He has the right corporate background. He obviously was the brains behind this whole operation. It wasn't her. She didn't have the requisite qualifications to come up with the money trails and all the routing for all that money. So she may have gone along with it, but she couldn't have possibly masterminded it.
Okay, I'd like to go across to Wasbir Hussain in Guwahati. Wasbir Hussain in Guwahati.
She's out of the way. It's all good for everybody else.
Yeah, Wasbir Hussain has been listening on, our consulting editor in Guwahati. Yesterday, Indrani's mother passed away, and we were talking about it, Wasbir, that, is she likely to come down to Guwahati? Nothing such happened, right? She did not go down. There was no court application for her to travel to Guwahati, so that was not on the agenda. What are you hearing? Where is Mikhail Bora in all of this? How is the news going down to Guwahati, your hometown?
Yes, Arnab, at this point in time, as we are talking, Mikhail Bora, Indrani's son, is actually watching Times Now along with a friend and 2 of his relatives. As we know, Indrani has lost her mother, Durga Rani Bora, only yesterday at the age of 80. And it's pretty much described as an old age ailment. She was suffering from quite a while. She was bedridden for quite some time. And it was Mikhail who performed the last rites at the crematorium sanatorium in Guwahati yesterday. And today, Mikhail has been watching the news, trying to get an update as to the condition or status of his mother, although he has been quite blunt initially when the story broke about Sheena Bora's murder. He said that his mother could well have indulged in such an act. That's what he commented. But today, we understand from his friends who are with him at this point in time at his home in Guwahati watching television that he's pretty shocked. And I have been speaking to several of Indrani's friends and relatives over the past 2 hours, and nobody is willing to buy this theory that Indrani has actually committed suicide by popping a large number of certain pills. And they are, I mean, they're absolutely curious as to what could have happened to such a person who has been in a high security jail, high profile kind of a prisoner at this point in time. So these are questions which Indrani's friends and relatives are also asking at this point in time. They are pretty detached about the case of Sheena Bora's murder, but that is a different issue. But at this point in time, it's a question of a jail inmate having access to such kind of pills which can take her life or life could be life-threatening. So these are issues which Indrani's friends and relatives are posing at this point in time in Guwahati and outside. And as for Mikhail, he is actually mourning the death of his grandmother, and at this point in time is keeping track of the story through television.
But there are multiple conflicting versions, and I really think Rohit Kochar watching this, I think it's very important for the hospital to tell us how she really is. I think that's important for the police to come out with a press statement. They cannot be, just sitting there doing nothing, twiddling their thumbs without telling us what the condition of Indrani Mukerjea is right now. I mean, they shouldn't be taking so much time. This delay itself is unacceptable. Yes, please, Rohit Kochar, as you view this right now, differing versions coming in. Can somebody just take pills? Can you just access pills? A high security prisoner like that, what's the responsibility of the CBI? Rohit, you followed the case. How do you view this latest development?
Arnab, clearly there's been gross negligence on part of the jail authorities, because a high-risk accused or a detainee such as Indrani should not have had access to these medicines in the first place. So as I said, certainly a case of gross negligence on part of the jail authorities. However, I would not stretch it so far as to say that there is a conspiracy theory. To be honest, a couple of days back, while thinking about this case, it did occur to me that at some stage or the other, given the great fall that Indrani has witnessed from zenith to nadir, financially, professionally, in terms of her stature in society, I would have thought this was coming. And that should have cast a greater responsibility on the jail authorities to ensure that she doesn't have access to anything which could be life-threatening to her.
Just one minute. We're getting a bit of disagreement on this. Sujay doesn't disagree with you. Yes, go ahead, Sujay.
She is a very strong, ambitious woman. She had charted her path with strategy. She had super ambitions to become the news Murdoch. So I don't think that this kind of a episode would have propelled her to do. I smell conspiracy. I smell grave conspiracy.
Yeah, you do that. No, but one thing.
60 days the charge sheet has to be filed, and if the charge sheet is not filed, she will be released on bail. So we have to also look that whether this is also a ploy, so that you do not cooperate, the investigation is curtailed, and after 90 days you are set on bail. You know, one cannot discount all the possibilities.
Everything is possible. One reason why I find it difficult to accept
investigation. Can I make a point here?
Yeah, go ahead, Wasbir. Go ahead, Wasbir.
I'm actually surprised.
Yeah, go ahead, Wasbir.
This is the sense I have been also getting by talking to at least 2 to 3 of Indrani's very, very close friends. They say that she's not the type of person, considering the chart as she has charted out her life, she's not the type of a person who would like to end her life, because she has ambitions, and she knew that this case is not watertight as of now. So this is the sense we have been getting in Guwahati as well, talking to our close friends.
Just 1 minute. When we come back, we'll get a medical opinion on the happens in this case, because stomach wash, usually happens in poisoning or drug overdose cases. Correct. Am I correct on that? Yes. Poisoning or drug overdose cases, you have a stomach wash. Now, why I find the suicide theory difficult to accept is because T.P. Lahane, Dean of JJ Hospital, said the following. He said, we think that, these are his exact words, Indrani Mukerjea was brought here at 2 a.m. She is unconscious since the time she was brought here. Her condition is serious. We think that she, Indrani Mukerjea, has consumed some tablets. We are treating her on that basis. Now, then he goes on to say, we have admitted her, but now the operational line. She complained of pain in the chest and restlessness. Our doctors are evaluating her. Now tell me, Swapnil, if somebody commits suicide or attempts to commit suicide or wants to kill themselves, why will they go and complain of pain in the chest and restlessness?
Absolutely.
A person who wants...
If she was unconscious, where does she complain?
Exactly. If a person wants to commit suicide, you won't go complaining to a doctor. Will you, Swapnil? Yes, please. I think Shobha also wants to comment. First comment from Swapnil.
Yes, Swapnil. The fact is very clear.
Was she unconscious or not unconscious when she was brought in? How can she complain if she is unconscious?
She is brought in.
They can't seem to make up their mind whether she changed was unconscious, was in a state to make any kind of coherent
Shobha, one second. Shobha, I think it will be useful for us to play that first phone reaction of Dr. T.P. Lahane. Let us play it. Let us all hear it. I think that will clarify, because now we are getting all multiple versions. Here it is.
I just wanted to know what has happened to her. What is her current status?
She is unconscious from 2 p.m.
Okay. What could be the possible reason?
We are thinking that she might have consumed some tablet.
Okay. What kind of a tablet do you think, Dr. Lahane, she might have?
That the forensic lab will be telling us. We have sent it to the forensic lab.
Just wanted one confirmation, sir. Is a condition of Indrani Mukerjea life?
She is unconscious. She is unconscious.
She's unconscious, yes, but what are the basic parameters?
That is serious. It means it is serious.
She's serious.
And now just she has came. So we are from 2 p.m. we are admitted. Up till now she is unconscious.
Okay. We're getting reports that she has consumed anti-epileptic pills.
That report we have not yet got, but we are thinking that her MRI is normal. So it may be because of some consuming of some tablets or something.
Okay.
Poison that might have caused the thing.
Okay. What about basic parameters? Her BP, her pulse?
Except the respiratory depression, other parameters are normal.
Okay, so in that particular soundbite, he says respiratory depression. Now we have another comment where he says she complains of pain in the chest and restlessness. Our doctors are evaluating her. We'll be running a few tests in order to make a diagnosis. He says she's unconscious since 2 p.m.
What he just spoke, how much more evidence do we need to support a theory of attempt to suicide?
No.
We cannot jump on the basis of what he has spoken.
By the way, I have breaking news right now. That it was a mixture of anti-epileptic and antidepressants. She was having convulsions since she was in Vaikala prison. Jail doctor supervision was advised when she consumed these pills. So it's a lapse prima facie on part of the jail authorities. Maharashtra Home Department has ordered an investigation. The Inspector General Prisons should conduct the investigation. I think the police, this Maharashtra police, should have nothing to do with this. If there is one police force that has messed up again and again and again and cannot now investigate what happened, it's the Maharashtra police. Swapnil. No, please. No. You can, but you have to have... What's it? Swapnil coming in. Swapnil.
What I'm saying...
Swapnil, please. Swapnil. Let's
so what's happened is...
So, Rohit, one second.
Rohit, just a second. Rohit, just a second.
What penal code? Which is section 309, attempt to commit suicide.
According to me, there is no question of any attempt to commit suicide here. If she is a strong lady, she is an ambitious woman, she is a person who knows how to tackle situations. She is going to be least affected by her mother's death in that aspect that she wants to end her own life. And secondly, my point is that if she is serious at this point in time, then where is Peter Mukerjea, and then where is CBI? I think CBI, the moment she gains consciousness...
Again, these are two versions we are getting. One is that we are clearly told she is serious. and she's serious, she's unconscious. The second version we are getting is she got a stomach wash, she's responding to treatment. And this is absolutely bizarre. You know, Indrani Mukerjea's lawyer has gone around everywhere saying that no pills were prescribed. So how can you have an overdose in that case? The JJ hospital dean says that she complained of restlessness, chest pain, etc., and that pills were prescribed. On the other hand, you have the IG who says that she fainted after being informed of her mother's death. We already have 3 versions on this. Completely unbelievable. Outside Peter Mukerjea's residence, where is Peter Mukerjea? Viren, our reporter, is outside Peter Mukerjea's residence. Where is Peter Mukerjea in all this? Where's this family? Viren?
Well, from what we've been told, Arnab, he isn't in town. He's left this morning in his car. We don't know whether he is in the city, although some people do tell us that he still is within the city. We've been trying to find out where he has been. The people here have been telling us that he has left early this morning in his car. We don't know if other family has travelled with him.
Okay.
Or not, but we try to find out.
So nothing known about Peter Mukerjea's location. Okay. There is nothing known about Peter Mukerjea's location from JJ Hospital on the latest. Kashif, what are we hearing? I mean, this is absolutely amazing. You have a government and a police which has been trying to keep a lid on this whole story for the last 8 to 9 hours, and they expected the media wouldn't get to know.
Well, the latest is that the Principal Secretary, Appeals and Security, Vijay Sadbir Singh, just came into the hospital. We tried to get a word from him, but what he just said is that the Home Department has ordered an inquiry into this case. The IG Prisons will do an inquiry. Indrani was having 2 pills a day, one in the morning, one in the evening. Prima facie, it appears that she's accumulated all those pills and then she's consumed it. She's gone there, he's gone inside to inspect what's happening. He'll come out and expect a soundbite, a reaction from him in about 15-20 minutes. It's about 10 minutes he's gone inside. The doctors are saying that she's not on ventilator, she's responding, they're giving us a gastric lavage. That lavage is going to be crucial, that is going to be sent for forensic examination. That is the one which is will determine the kind of pills she's had. We've also known that she's going to have 2 types of pills, one antidepressant in the morning and one anti-epileptic in the evening. This was after she started to have convulsions while in the prison. The prison doctor then consulted JJ Hospital and then gave her these pills. What we understand that these 2 pills is where she's accumulated them, and today in the afternoon at about 12 o'clock and 2 o'clock, between these 2 hours is when she consumed this pill, is what we understand. Between 10 to 20 pills is what the doctors estimate she's consumed. She's still unconscious. Her parameters are stable. ICCU on the 3rd floor. And also what we understand, Arnab, is now that the inquiry will determine whether it was a lapse on the part of the prison or whether it was on the part of the hospital. That has to be determined by this inquiry by IG Prisons. But yes, a massive and huge cover-up now coming to its logical conclusion for the people who wanted it to be covered.
Right. No. But the point, however, is in all of this that why we are saying respiratory depression, because respiratory depression is, and I just checked this out, a decrease in the ability to exhale and inhale. It is the most common side effect of an anesthetic, narcotic or sedative drugs. So if she has had respiratory depression, which is, as per our limited medical information, we'll get a doctor on the line, a condition where the rate of breaths goes below 12 a minute, which is also called respiratory insufficiency, it has to be an after effect of the consumption of specific drugs. So we know the following facts. A, Vikram Singh, I want you to come in on this. We know that she has had certain narcotic, sedative or whatever drugs, point number 1. Point number 2, we know that she has been taken to the hospital, right? Point number 3, she's been given a stomach wash. We know that she complained. According to one version, she complained that she was not feeling well. On the other version is that she was unwell because she heard of her mother's passing away. 5 or 6 versions are coming now. Vikram Singh, what are we to make of it is why has the police not come out with an official statement on this case so far? Are they trying to come out with something, that appears to be almost managed, manufactured or cosmetically arranged? Because there are 5 or 6 versions they need to explain now. They can't come out with a one-line statement anymore. Vikram Singh?
Arnab, there are too many inconsistencies in the whole plot, and they're adding a new dimension one after the other. You have identified the fault lines, and the Maharashtra police has been caught on the wrong foot on many occasions, this one included. Now the IG Prisons, Special IG Prisons, Bipin Kumar Singh, he needs to explain under what circumstances the medicine was not administered by the medical professionals themselves and allowed, if at all, by Indrani to hoard them and consume them in one go. Lapse number one. Lapse number two, saying that this was not a consequence of medicinal overdose, but a consequence of knowing the terrible news of a mother's demise. How did you realize that it was because of this and not because of that? Then the inconsistency of the doctor's version. It just does not add up. There are too many loose strings. And as you very rightly said, there has to be an independent probe, independent of those who bungled earlier. At least they should spare any further cover-up now. And there are those, the moment the news tightens, they find an escape route somehow or the other. Let us hope that this is not an escape route once and for all.
Someone's trying to find an escape route, quite clearly, Shobha. Someone's trying to find an escape route, and somehow it links all the time to the cash trail coming out. Rizwan Merchant, I don't know how you look at it. Shobha, what do you think?
Correct.
So, Arnab, I agree with you. You see the two versions which are coming in from the jail.
Looking murkier and murkier by the moment, but the authorities are obliged. They're obliged to make a clear statement. They have to be on the same page. And they are obliged to tell the public at large what exactly happened. Was she unconscious? Had she fainted? Was she still talking when she was brought to the hospital? Why was she allowed to keep those tablets with her? How do they know, and how are they trying to tell the watching public that she consumed them in one go? Can anyone establish that without a reasonable doubt? Also in the Sunanda Pushkar's case, Arnab, if you remember, many precious hours were lost before they declared her condition. She had been unconscious or had been administered, whatever they claim, she had administered herself or someone had administered to her hours before it was made known to the public. Those many crucial hours where there were people sitting outside her suite. They knew she was unwell, but they did nothing. No doctor was summoned. This sounds uncannily similar to that scenario, doesn't it? Which means it could be the same set of people. The money trail certainly points to a set of people who are well versed in matters such as this.
Well, three things come across very clearly. As Rizwan Merchant, one, similar to the Sunanda Pushkar case. Secondly, money angle was all but closed down.
There's another question.
Okay, yes, Rizwan Merchant, please, go ahead.
Arnab, there's another question. To disbelieve
another point.
This, and I'm constrained to disbelieve this entire theory of suicide for the simple reason that if she's consuming 2 tablets in the evening and 1 tablet in the morning under jail supervision, the jail supervisor or the jail authority is supposed to ensure that she consumes. If she's hoarding, she is not allowed to hoard. Secondly, if that attempt was for committing suicide, why would she consume it in the morning? She would consume it in the night and go to sleep if she had any intentions to commit suicide. If she was found in an unconscious state in 2 p.m. in the afternoon, that means she has consumed it somewhere around the morning. So it's totally tangent to the findings of T.P. Lahane, and there is something definitely fishy. Now, my own doubts about the investigation which is going to be conducted by the IG prison. Why should a prison authority be allowed to conduct an investigation in this case? Why not an independent authority who has got nothing to do with the prison authorities and the functioning? There is definitely going to be an attempt to cover up. That is the reason why the IG prison has been handed over investigation. You take it from me that the buck is going to be passed on to somebody else.
No,
the jail authorities will cleanse themselves of this particular act, and you will not be able to do anything. You won't get a fingerprint on that.
You see, the other point is that what illness was she suffering from? Like in the Sunanda Pushkar case, they made up. They made up this. You remember.
While she was in police custody, she personally never complained to the court. Her advocates never complained to the court. Epilepsy and convulsions are not something which can overnight develop. You need to have a regular history of that. Where is that medical file which shows that she is an epileptic patient, or that she was advised that? Why does it that the jail authorities suddenly decide to give her all these depression tablets and epilepsy tablets? There is something much more than what meets the eye.
Two things. We don't know what she was suffering from. In the Sunanda
which was convinced that she was dying of lupus.
No, in the Sunanda Pushkar case, they made up that theory.
There is a pattern there.
Yeah, but only in this case.
She was on medication that she didn't need either.
Yeah, only in this case, there's much more that needs to come out here.
One more question.
Yes, Sanjay Hegde, last point.
If she stored, Arnab, can I come in?
Yeah.
Arnab, if she stored all these pills, then it is obvious that it was not the death of her mother which caused the suicide. She was obviously planning it before that. Why was she really planning it? Was she planning it to cover up the money trail, or was she already depressed? That is the real question. Because if you have to store pills, you can't store them overnight.
I think
it's obvious that the mother.
The only question to ask here is,
they have just pushed her over the edge.
Who would have benefited? For me, that's who would have benefited had something happened to her. Now, hopefully, she's coming out of all this. We are waiting for an official statement. We repeat, who would have benefited had something happened to Indrani Mukerjea? Thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining me. Thank you.